I a bit close? We'll go with it. Hi everyone, it's Jenny and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to do my first ever tag video, which is really exciting. Katie from Books and Things very kindly tagged me in the Choose the Year book tag, which is originated by Mel from Mel's Book and Adventures. I'll link Katie's and Mel's original tag down below, so feel free to check those out. When I first found BookTube, I watched loads of old tags, so this is a really new one and it's a fun one. But let's get into it. So the first question is choose a year and say why. Now I know that lots of people have chosen even the year that they were born, but I'm not particularly interested in 1994, so I've chosen 1847 because I'm a Victorianist, and also that was a bumper Bronte year. The Brontes have written two of my favourite books of all time, and I'm trying to finish reading all of Charlotte's novels this year. I've only got The Professor and Shirley to go, but me picking this year is really a reminder to myself to try and finish that reading goal. So question 2 is, which books have you read or heard of? So I've heard of, though I haven't read, Vanity Fair, and I don't know where my copy's gone. I need to find that because I still haven't read it. But it was serialised in Punch magazine, and that began in January of that year. The academics aren't certain. There's quite a lot of people who think that Anne Bronte finished writing The Tenant of Wildfell Hall in that year as well, though it wasn't actually published. But more importantly, Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte and Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, one of my favourite books of all time, were both accepted publication in July and came out in December. And then to round off the sisterhood, Jane Eyre, another one of my books, favourite books even, of all time, was published in October, I think. It was accepted publication in August. So I really think the Victorian publishers moved quickly, and this was published in 3-volume form. It wasn't serialised like Vanity Fair was being. And then in terms of poetry, Tennyson published his long poem The Princess, and then Christina Rossetti also published some verses, so some good poetry output in this year as well. Question 3 is, are there any books published that year that you think sound interesting and you would read now? So I definitely intend to read Vanity Fair when I can find my damn copy, and the poetry as well. I'm definitely interested in reading. I've read some long poems by Tennyson before. I've read In Memoriam and Maud, and I like both of them, so I'm sure The Princess wouldn't be too bad to read. And then there's a book by Trollope, who I've only read 2 novels by, and I think it's the first one he published. He actually finished it in 1845, but it wasn't published until 1847, and it's called I need to read the notes of this. The McDermotts of Ballycloran, and it's set in the mid-19th century, unsurprisingly, considering when it was written, and I think it's about Irish Catholics who are struggling to maintain or hold on to financially their land in a very Protestant island, and that to me sounds really interesting. I think there aren't many books set in Ireland so much for 19th century literature, and I'm originally from Northern Ireland, so I'd definitely be interested in reading that. I don't know how hard it would be. I mean, easy Jenny. Wow. I don't know how easy it would be to get a copy of that one, but I think my university has all of his novels. Maybe I should get that out one day. I think it would be a nice change, and it sounds like it's really different from his other novels. Question 4 is the most obscure sounding book. So obviously the Victorian period was a great industrious period where lots of literature was being churned out, so there are a lot of books I've never heard of before. But one was called The Henpecked Husband, and that just sounded like a really funny title. It's by Harriet Ann Scott, who I've never heard of before, but apparently she wrote 8 novels. But I think it's the kind of book that sadly is probably out of print. The only copies that I could find online all said that they would probably have missing text and lots of errors and blurred writing. So I think sadly that's not going to be one I can get hold of. Question 5 is strangest book covers. So obviously this doesn't apply so much to Victorian novels because a lot of them are serialised or published in 3 volumes and were just leather bound, pretty standard looking books. But my dad's copy of Wuthering Heights from the 70s leaves something to be desired. I think the 70s has this bad rep of having really unaesthetic book covers, and luckily we've pulled that back and come back around to nice book covers, because my second edition of Wuthering Heights, yes, I have 2, I have no shame, is beautiful, and yeah, I can see what they're trying to do. I guess it's atmospheric, but it's not that pretty. Although It cost 85p. What a time to be alive. Well, what a time that would have been to be alive. I mean, damn, 85p. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed that and feel slightly educated maybe. Ooh, I guess I should tag some people. I'm gonna tag some smaller booktubers because I really appreciated being tagged. I tag Tundra Blue, Petra, you, and Dancing Norn. But if you want to tag, you want to do it, just do it. Go crazy, make your own rules. I make the rules. If you know what Disney film that's from, I love you. Wow, that was really candid. This is the point where I need to stop, so I'll see you soon for more bookish shenanigans. Bye!